Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know where this is headed. Can't be good. We're in new territory here. Just listen to this, okay? Just stop just for a second and listen to this. Expectation is the thief of joy. That is not my quote. I should have looked up who said that. I was thinking I would do it right now, but I'm not gonna. Whoever said that, genius. Expectation is the thief of joy. This is a film about photography advice. It's been a while since we've talked about any of this stuff. I just came back from the New York Art Book Fair. I'm getting ready to go to another continent to teach a workshop. I read that quote and it just really struck me because, and I've got 9 things to discuss. The last one is the most important, which is why I'm putting it last. So I'm going to torture you jackals. You have to just endure. And I'm not going to time code it, nothing, no shortcuts. If you don't have the attention span to watch it, you shouldn't be on this channel to begin with. Heck, you shouldn't be here to begin with. You should be in the field shooting. And that's what we're talking about. This is about photography. It's been a while, and I got some stuff to say. Number one, stop already with the unrealistic expectations. This turns people inside out. Expectation is the thief of joy. I totally believe this. If I'm going to go do a project somewhere, and let's say that I am going to Medellin, Colombia, and I'm going to spend 5 days with the chief of police, I will do my research. I will obviously know who the chief of police is. I will do my research about the crime metrics of the police force, how the police force is developed, designed, what's working, what's not. That's a story that has parameters on it. If I go somewhere to travel and photograph and I don't have a specific project, I do not ever do something like go to Instagram and see what people are posting about that location. I would never go to a photography group and look at what people are posting from that location. I would never look at a top 10 list. I would never look at what's hot. I would never do any of that. This turns people inside out. It sets completely unrealistic expectations, and most of the time it ruins their experience. And as photographers, we cannot do this. And I'll give you a story because that's what I'm prone to do. When I was an intern in 1993 at the Arizona Republic, you would walk in the morning and there were these wire mesh baskets that each one had the name of a photographer. And let's say there were 25 photographers on staff at Art Paper. Each person had a basket. And when you walked in the room, you could look across and see that basket and see a stack of papers. Those were your assignments for the day. Now, those were your expected, known assignments of the day. There were always curveballs almost every day, which was why the newspaper world was such an amazing training ground to be a photographer. Because you just didn't know. At some point during the day, that pager was going off. Yeah, I said pager. This was right after we stopped using carrier pigeons. The pager would go off, 911, panic, something, UFO landed on corporate headquarters, boom, you got to go over there. So I went in there one day, and I pick up this assignment, and it's for a Latin American dance troupe, which if you're a newspaper photographer in the United States, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is an assignment that comes up every year. The dance troupe would come through the city, they would perform, and somebody gets assigned. When you're working at a big newspaper, this happens. There's a core group of assignments that happen every single year. They tend to try to mix up who gets those assignments so you don't lose your mind. So I'm sitting there reading this thing about this dance troupe, and this old photographer walks in, and he just completely dry. He's like, tripod, balcony, 28, slow shutter, done. He's telling me how to shoot it. Go to the balcony with a tripod, put a 28 on, slow shutter, dancers are moving, you'll get a nice blur, done. And I'm sitting there thinking well, if you've already done that, how many times? Why do I want to do the same thing? And the photo editor walks up, and to his credit, he's a photo editor. He's looking at idiot me, knowing I don't know shit, and he says to me, stop creating expectations. Stop, because one of two things will happen. You're going to create something in your mind that is unrealistic, and when you show up there, it's not going to look like what you thought. And two, that's going to force you to say, this wasn't a good assignment. This wasn't a good assignment. And instead, what you should be doing is shutting up, stop creating false expectations, and go react to what's in front of you. That was some of the best advice I got. I do not preconceive. I do not set wild expectations about what I'm going to get. That is just, not only is it ridiculous, it's painful. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I've just seen it turn so many people inside out. The last thing in the world you should be doing if you're traveling is reading a review about something. Good grief. Why am I the one having to say this? Hang on here. Text from Denmark. I'll have to get back to that in a minute. Number two, if you're trying to be a photographer, you have got, for the love of God, you've got to photograph more. You have to photograph a lot, and a lot more than you're doing right now. And this is just based on feedback from the field of people that I'm encountering, not only from the field, email, text messages, phone calls, Discord, YouTube, my site. I talk to people all day long, every day. My phone all night long, thankfully I bury it in the other room. My phone is going off all night long from people from other parts of the world who are awake, sending me messages. We are talking about photography and a lot about photography books, but photography in particular. People talk too much and shoot too less. If you are going to get good at this, you have to photograph all the time. You cannot watch YouTube films. You cannot think that you're going to make progress if you're not in the field lifting that camera to your eye. That is the only way you're going to get better, and you need to do it a lot more. Number three, and I've talked about this many times before, but I think it's even more poignant today, which is don't share. Do not share what you're doing in real time. That will only, if it's a real project. If you want to share what you had for lunch and you want to share whatever, behind the scenes stuff that's funny or whatever, great, do that. But if you're working on a serious body of work, do not share it in real time. It is undermining the entire project because collectively, as a species, and this affects everyone, from the bottom of the food chain in the photo world to the elite of the photo world, our attention span has disintegrated. And if you post 6 pictures from a project, you will get a bevy of people who will say, when the project is done, and let's say there's 50 pictures, they'll say, I already know all about it. I've already seen it, because they saw those 6 pictures that you were dumb enough to post on social media. Stop. You've got to stop doing this. If you can't look around and see what has happened with social media in the last 18 months in terms of ROI, you are blind, because it has fallen off a cliff. It's not, no one wants to see your stuff anymore on these platforms. The only people, as one CEO said to me, the only people left are the addicts. And I think that's true. There's another long-winded point here that I'm going to get to in a minute about this. I'm actually going to add a 10th point here, which I just got from Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington, right? Because we both know they're great photographers. Probably sponsored by Leica. I'm kidding. Totally joking about that. Okay, don't stop sharing. I don't want to hear from you until you got something good to say. That's it. We're still friends. I still like you. I just don't want to see your stuff. Now, thankfully, I disconnected from this nonsense 11 years ago. So I don't really see you as it is, but I know you guys are out there back and forth, chatter, street photography groups and Instagram groups and Facebook groups and photo groups and all that stuff. It's fine, but if you want to make a real impact, you've got to curb that a little bit. Trust me. Okay, number 4, find someone who knows. When you're showing your work around, if you're, let's say you're in a street photography group, you're kind of preaching to the choir, and you're going to get awarded liberties that you probably wouldn't from someone who is a professional at looking at photography, making sense of photography, editing photography, sequencing photography. You're going to get a different point of view. And oftentimes it might hurt. And that's why I think a lot of people shy away from it, is the online culture is not built for criticism, positive or negative. It's just built for awesome, flip, awesome. Ultimately, that can make you feel okay, and it can make you feel part of the group, but it's not ultimately going to help you progress to get better, because what you need is someone to tell you the truth. And the online photo community, the online photo culture is not about truth. It's about following. Those are two diametrically opposed things, which is why there is so much BS online in the photography world. Thank God, my feed no longer has anything to do with photography, which is great. It took me a long time to get that algorithm to leave me alone when it comes to photography, because that's it. You need to find someone who knows what they're doing. I live in Santa Fe. There's a half a dozen people, photographers, that I can go to and say, tell me what you think of this. Tell me where I'm at. Is this good? My co-instructor, Elena, I can put work in front of Elena, and Elena's going to say, yes, no, maybe, I don't get it. You're missing this. This isn't good enough. I don't like the concept. And because I know her chops, I know what she's done, where she's been, I've seen her work, that has resonance far beyond someone on an online, whether it's YouTube or Instagram, wherever, saying, wow, great capture. So take the time to find someone who knows. This might be super simple for some of you and incredibly difficult for others, but in the long run, it is well worth your time and effort. I got some serious drainage happening here. Don't mind me. Look away. Look away. Point number 5, slow the hell down. Slow down. Nothing good comes fast in this unless you're shooting for a wire service and you hit a piece of spot news that's absolutely unbelievable. You hit a piece of spot news that's absolutely unbelievable. Yes, that happens incredibly fast. But for most of you, from what I know about you, you are out there making pictures. Some of you are shooting random, some are shooting street, some are shooting projects. You're trying to build bodies of work. You're trying to get better. This takes time. And again, if you're not shooting almost every day, how are you expecting to get better? And if you add pace into this, and this is what the online world and the technology has ruined us on, is pace. Everyone wants everything right now. They want to be relevant, they want to be famous, they want book deals and gallery shows and success, and they want to sell this and sell that. It typically doesn't work that way. You know, we came from an era of the 10-year project, and now we're in the era of the 2-day project, where decades ago, someone would work for 10 years. They had a 10-year business plan. They would work chapter to build this huge body of work. And then once the work was done, they would start the big promotion process. It was kind of, now imagine that today reversed. Now, instead of spending 10 years, you spend 2 days, and then you take the next 2 years and you promote this subpar work because you only spent 2 days doing it because you're in such a hurry to get something. You want following, you want subs, you want numbers, you want money, you want to sell books, you want to do all this stuff. It kind of ruins the sanctity of what photography can be. So my advice is just relax and slow down. This is a marathon. It's a long play. You can be a short play person. I've seen people like this my entire career. I saw a lot of them when I worked for Kodak Professional in LA. They were gimmick photographers, where it's like cross-processing EPP suddenly became super hot. And there were people, that's all they did, was just cross-processed EPP. They had 18 months to 2 years of like skyrocket, incredible fame, and then all of a sudden Kodak stops making EPP and their entire career ends and they disappear. I saw that happen again and again. In the background are the long play people. And the long play people are the ones who are said, I'm after a career in the arts. And a career in the arts is very different from going viral. Everyone now, every marketing branding agency, we're going to make something for you that goes viral. Well, that's not how it works. And guess what? It goes viral, and 8 seconds later, the people are like, the crack monkeys out there are like, I'm bored of that. What's next? What's next? You want a career in the arts. Slow down, marathon. Get a regular job and make your work. Number 6, write. Oof, I know this scares a lot of people. Write. Write about anything. Write about your work. Write about what you like, what you don't like, what's going on in your head. Write about what you're afraid about. Write about why you hate everyone else around you and why you're the best photographer in the world. Write. You cannot avoid this. And if you use AI, you are a gutless little worm. I do not like how many YouTube photography channels are already using AI for things like voiceover? And it sounds and looks like it, and it's the most soul-crushing, awful horridness that anyone has unleashed on the world. I cannot believe how many people have already gone all in on using AI. You're using it to edit your work, you're using it to write, you're using it to do your voiceovers, and then you're complaining that it's going to come and take your job away. It's insulting. The thing about humans that makes us so magical is we are screwed up We are totally screwed up. We all have tragic flaws. We're not, even the protagonists amongst us, we all have tragic flaws. That's what's beautiful about humanity is we are not perfect. We are a mess. We are a hot mess. Look at America right now. America's having a moment. Apologize for that UN speech that went down yesterday. Holy moly. We're having a moment. Just give us a second. Look away for a while and maybe we'll be here when you look back. Writing, I don't care how bad you are. I don't care if your handwriting sucks. I don't care. Just write. It works. It's helpful. Okay, number 7, limit your overall time online. The internet is the most incredible mind grenade I have ever seen in my life, and I'm guilty of it as well. It is so easy to, like, between tasks, say to yourself, well, I'll just check YouTube, or I'll check whatever, the New York Times, or I'll check Al Jazeera, or I'll check Fox News, or whatever your flavor of disinformation is. It's like, oh, I'll just do this. Limit your time online. It's better for you to go for a walk than it is for you to check the New York Times. It really is. And I think historically, if you look at some of the best creative minds in history and you see what their connection to walking was, you will understand what walking allows your brain to do. They said it takes 24 minutes for your mind to reset from an email. Just an email takes 24 minutes for your mind to reset back to a sense of calm. So imagine if you're on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Snapchat or Pinterest, or pick your poison. Imagine what is that's doing to your brain. And I'm guessing that a bunch of you out there are texting on Discord, on email, on social, on websites, because I am, except for the social part. I'm on all those other things. It is incredibly difficult at times to find clarity amongst the clutter. I don't work on airplanes. I don't care how long the ride is. I have a 9 or 10 hour flight coming up in a couple of days. I don't work on planes. I think and I write. And I often don't watch movies either. I sit there and I think. Same thing. I just drove 2,100 miles, no radio, no podcast, no music. I thought. That's all I did was think. Maybe you don't need this, but I think you do, because I know you. I can feel it. I can smell fear in this audience right now. Okay, this is point 8, I think. Yeah. Don't copy. Don't copy what you've already seen. If someone, I just saw Alex Webb from a distance at the New York Art Book Fair. Alex and Rebecca, I was at a Blurb booth next to the entrance at the top of the stairs, and I looked over, and going in the building was Alex Webb and Rebecca Norris Webb. And I was like, oh, there's every hipster in this building is got a bullseye on him. They all, that's who people want to be. Is one of the people that people want to be is Alex Webb. When I first discovered Alex Webb, his work on the border, it was very impactful for me. I was like, wow, who is this person? What's he doing? I liked his sense of composition. I loved his layering. And I was like, wow, when you see an Alex Webb photograph, you can typically tell it's an Alex Webb photograph. The problem with that is Alex Webb is a real human being. He's alive and out there and making work. So if you're just copying Alex Webb, you are going to get nowhere, because anyone in the industry who knows Alex Webb is going to look at your work and say, well, this is pretty derivative of Alex Webb. You don't want to just copy, you want to experiment. I've said this 100 times and it's critically important. I will take weird over good any day of the week because I see too much good. Think about this. I have 14 years and 9 months at Blurb. I was a photographer for, let's say, conservatively 27 years prior to that. And that is after post-education. So if you throw in education and photography, it's 30 plus years, plus, let's say, getting close to 15 years here at Blurb. How many bodies of work do you think I've looked at? How many photographers do you think I've met? How many photo books do you think I've seen over that time frame? Thousands, thousands and thousands. I see so much all the time. It's part of my job. I cannot avoid it. I will take weird over expected any day of the week. I don't need to see another book of photo, unless it is absolutely mind-blowingly good, and those are rare. Every generation, you maybe have a handful of people worldwide who are generational talent who make something new that we haven't seen before. The rest of us are derivative. We're all derivative. So I will take weird. I'm getting ready to go teach a class in Morocco. I haven't been to Morocco in 25 years. Very curious what it looks like now compared to back then. I know it's very different. I know what Morocco looks like. So do you. If you go to Google, you can type in Morocco, type in Marrakesh, Essaouira, Fez, whatever. You're going to see thousands of photographs, many of which are pretty decent photographs. We all know what it looks like. But what you don't know is my story in Morocco. That's the only thing I have. It's the only thing I can cling to is my interpretation of that place. So my idea, and again, I'm teaching, but even though I'm teaching, I always have something in the back of my head that's a fallback position for those moments when I say, oh, here's a few minutes I can photograph. What am I going to do? What story am I trying to tell? My first thought was, because I've been a people-based photographer my whole life, my first thought was, I want to do a book of photographs from Morocco with no people, because I've never done that before, and to me, it doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form, which is a challenge. Can I do it? If I do that, can I make something that's interesting? What is the written component of that story that makes it interesting? That was my first thing. Then I thought, well, I love birding. I haven't been birding in a long time. I don't know anything about the birds of Morocco. I'm assuming they're there. But I thought, okay, that's my hook. My book is called Birding in Morocco, and you will see no birds in the photographs. That's as of right now sitting here, that is my goal photographically for this trip, for this book. And again, am I going to make a definitive book on Morocco in 2 weeks? No. Why would I even think that, try that? That would be beyond arrogant to think I'm going to go reinvent the wheel. There have been some incredible books of photography done on Morocco. It's an amazing place. I'm not going to do that. Primary goal, help other people with their photography, and that is the rub for me, man. That is the juice, is working with people in the field, watching people photograph, helping them, watching them, helping them edit and sequence. Some people want to make books. We've got painters coming, we've got writers coming, we've got photographers coming. That is the juice. My ramblings in my head is the sideshow. This is just what's happening in my head while I'm doing these other things. And yes, I'll be shooting. So I'm choosing a Fuji X100VI at 16:9 because that's the film formats that I'm using all the time are all 16:9. I don't typically shoot in 16:9, so I thought, well, I'm doing a weird project about birding with no birds. I might as well shoot a format that I've never shot before, and we'll see what happens. That's what's interesting to me. It's this minute little something, some glitch, some aneurysm in my head that said, hey, this is something that you should try. I know Morocco, but I don't know you in Morocco. That's the thing. And you cannot copy someone and tell me it's you in Morocco or anywhere else. It has to come from you. And I think people are, again, they're in a rush. So-and-so was successful. I'll just copy what he's doing or she's doing, and I will do that, and then I'll kind of spin it, and then I'll promote it within my little circles. And again, this is kind of a bonus point here. I don't care what other photographers think of my work. That is not my audience. My audience is the general public. There are millions more, and they are not jaded about photography. I don't really care I've never cared what other photographers think about my work. It's really the public that I'm putting it in front of, a stranger that comes in my house. By the way, speaking of books, this is the book that my wife made from Morocco 25 years ago. This is hilarious. This is what we did back then as we were sitting around the fire protecting ourselves from brontosaurus. So it's printed inkjet, little vellum pages. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know how many people have come in our house and sat and looked at this book? How much better is that than some goddamn moronic Instagram feed sitting over there handing your phone back and forth to people? Oh, have you seen this? You seen this? Please, don't get me started. Do you know how I feel about Instagram and what it's done to professional photography? Could you surmise that from anything I've said today? So experiment, tinker, test. Weird is better than good. Okay, I'm going to switch these up. This is point 9. I heard an interview with Ethan Hawke, and he was talking about getting the job on training day. And Denzel wanted him to get the part. So he gets the part, and Ethan said something interesting. He said, look, when you're on a film where nobody's making any money, everybody's free. Everybody's free because no one's making any money. Then you land a big Hollywood production like Training Day, and you're like, uh-oh, this is a whole different ballgame. Like, there's a lot of money. There's a big budget, big stars. Now there's pressure. And he said, but what he realized immediately was that Denzel was still free. Denzel was free on the big budget. And so Ethan's looking at him like, whoa, how's that happen? That's where I want to be. And Denzel said to Ethan, you create the environment in which you want to work. And when I heard that, I said, that is exactly the truth. And this is direct opposition from everything you hear in the industry. The industry is built to get you to conform to the industry, because that way they can put you in a drop-down menu and easily identify who you are. That is a death sentence in modern photography. If you allow that to happen, you are dead. You are never going to make it because the industry is contracting. People are running scared. Budgets are low. AI is coming in and wiping out, illustration, design, photography, all copy editing. All these things are on the chopping block. If you conform to the environment that the industry wants you to be, and when I say industry, that could be YouTube as well. That could be the online industry, or that could be the professional industry. Both of those are built to get you to conform. Why do you think there's so many camera review channels? Well, it gets views. Conform. Oh, you want to be a YouTuber? Just talk about tech. You know what? F that. It's boring and awful, and why anyone would spend so much time on these channels, I have no idea, except for the people building the channels, because it's profitable. They make money. Build the environment you want. When I look around at the most successful, creative, interesting people I see out there, they are all people who have built their own environment. Do they dabble with the industry and the traditional environments? Absolutely. But it is on their terms, not the industry's terms. If your creative career is in the hands of the industry, you are dead. You are never going to survive. You have got to create the environment. And when I heard Ethan say that, I was like, that is spot on. That is, whether you're an actor or a musician or a photographer, that is what you want. Okay, last point. For the love of God. And a good friend reminded me of this on a panel last week. This is about self-awareness. This is about self-awareness. This is the most important thing I am going to say right now. I am not Liam Gallagher. I am not Noel Gallagher. I am not Oasis. I am, at best, a flute player at a wedding. That is where I am on the creative hierarchy. That's where I am. I'm a flute player at a wedding. No offense to flute players at weddings, but I don't see you packing Wembley Stadium with 100,000 people like Oasis does. So in our heads, most of us look and we go, man, it'd be kind of cool to be a British rock star. Like, that's got to be top 3 jobs of all time. British rock star. Hawaiian Tropic Oil Boy might be a second one. But I'm not Liam Gallagher. I'm not Noel Gallagher. I'm not any of these people. I'm just a normal dude. So that is called self-awareness. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I need work on. Before you move forward with any of your photography, with any of your goals to be a photographer, to have a career in the arts, you have got to have a foundation in self-awareness. I'm not a fan of the fake it till you make it scam of the modern creative culture, which is, I'm just going to pretend. I run into photographers all the time who have parlayed fake it till you make it into careers. Now, the chatter about them behind the scenes is everyone knows what they did to get where they are, and it's not a healthy place to be. Self-awareness. For example, if you're going to make a photography book and you're going to do a book on, New York street photography, and you're like, I'm going all in on this. I'm going to be the next, Bruce Gilden or whoever. The self-awareness requires you to say, is this actually good? Am I actually good? Am I adding something to the narrative? Am I copying something, or am I using that as inspiration and adding something new to the conversation? You have got to have self-awareness. Most of what is built around modern culture is to keep you from finding self-awareness. It's like, so-and-so has 1 million followers on TikTok. Wow, must be super smart. Joe Rogan, 20 million subscribers on Spotify, I guess it is now, or YouTube. Does that mean that this is a good channel? Does it mean that the information coming out of the channel is good? No. The self-awareness is just not there. So you can skirt it, push it away, and find success. But ultimately, I think you'll be much happier, as will the people around you, as will the industry itself, if you have a bit of self-awareness when it comes to what it is you're doing. I know that I do not have time right now to create a body of work that I would be super proud of in the classic tradition of what I used to do, because I used to have far more time. I had far less distraction, and I could spend more time dedicating to working on the bodies of work that I wanted. I spent much, much, much more of my time. Let's say I spent 80% of my time doing that, and now I spend 8%. The self-awareness says, I'm not going to put things out and promote the living hell out of them because I know I don't have the chops. The work is not there. And I see a lot of people in the photography space that have absolutely no self-awareness. They just don't know because they haven't taken time to learn the context. They haven't learned what's done. They haven't really gotten feedback from people who know that might say, look, I get where you're going here, but this is too much like so-and-so. And by the way, this has already been done 3 times. Here are 3 photographers that have done this. They don't want to hear that. They don't have the self-awareness. They just want to be out in the world as originals without putting the work in. So that is what I would do. Again, self-awareness, super important. Create the environment you want to work in. Shoot more. Shoot more, people. Just get out there. I'm my own worst advocate. I know I should be shooting all the time. I don't have the time to shoot the kind of stuff I want to do. It's frustrating. It's challenging. I know. I need some of you to tell me to go shoot more. And also your expectations. Don't crush yourself. Don't know who that is. What's happening here? Oh, no, I know who that is. Yeah, nice. Nice. What was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought. I think this is a really good photographer who I like. And he's just a cool dude. He's like a dude that when he walks in the room, everyone's like, oh, I want to be around that guy. Why he's texting me, I don't know. It's probably a mistake. He was probably texting, who's a famous Dan? I don't know, what was the guy from Hawaii Five-0? Bookham Dano. He's probably texting that guy. Wasn't me. I was a pocket text or something. So that's it. Just don't set crazy, unrealistic expectations. You're just gonna, you're gonna disappoint yourself. Shoot more. Don't share all the time. Find someone who knows. You could call that a mentor if you want, or someone who knows how to edit. Slow down. Write. Limit your time online. Don't copy. Experiment. Give me weird over good. Listen to Ethan Hawke. He seems like a pretty smart dude, and Denzel does too. And self-awareness. Just kind of know who you are, where your standing is. And that's it. So I will be back at some point. I'm going to be on the road here doing some stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye.